Nicola Sturgeon, First Minister of Scotland, recently expressed she would potentially draft a lockdown exit strategy for Scotland separately from the UK. Speaking to journalists in her daily press briefing, Ms Sturgeon said she would not rule out an independent exit strategy for Scotland. She stated, "This virus doesn't respect borders or boundaries, that is obvious. That is why the Scottish Government has been working so carefully and collaboratively and closely to align our thinking and decision with the Welsh, UK and Northern Irish governments. But if the evidence and the science tell us that because we are all at different stages of the infection curve we might need to do things slightly differently, it would be astounding for any First Minister to say that they would simply ignore that." However, an Express poll has revealed a staggering majority of readers condemn this approach, and believe Ms Sturgeon would. Out of the 5,568 people who responded to the Express poll, 87% 4,798 of respondents believed Ms Sturgeon would be wrong to publish an exit strategy before the UK. This was compared to 12% 714 of respondents who stated Ms Sturgeon would be within her rights to break ranks from the rest of the UK. 1% 56 of those who responded stated they were unsure. The Express poll ran from 10:45 am on Saturday, April 18 until 8 am on Sunday, April 19. Many readers took the opportunity to roundly criticise Ms Sturgeon for suggesting a breakaway. One Express reader wrote, "This is very simply an attempt to score political points. This woman has no respect for authority." Another said, "We are not at the point of knowing what kind of exit strategy will be appropriate. She is doing what she always does, trying to act as if Scotland is a completely independent country." A third wrote, "Why rush it? Have an outline, but some EU countries are slowly coming out of lockdown, what harm would watching them do? See what they got correct, and see what they got wrong, and use that to make yours, rather than having to chop and change plans and look stupid." And a fourth said, "She should back out of it. The decision is not hers. Scotland is not an independent country. Time for her to grow up." However, one reader acquiesced, stating it was down to Scotland to make a decision on exiting lockdown. They wrote, "The Scottish people elected the SNP. The SNP can now do as they choose. However, they must work within their given budget and not deprive the rest of the UK taxpayers of their share. Any extra money required should be raised in Scotland." Another said, "What she does in Scotland is Scotland's problem, if they don't like it it's up to them to do something about it." And a third wrote, "Once again, Scotland is taking a lead here." The report said, Ms Sturgeon, who is also the leader of the Scottish National Party, said her decision would be based on how Scotland is tackling the virus as compared to the rest of the UK. Scotland banned mass gatherings and closed schools slightly earlier than the rest of the UK, however, lockdown measures came into effect at the same time. When these measures were implemented, Scotland was slightly ahead in the infection curve compared to the rest of the UK. Ms Sturgeon added, "Where the evidence, with judgment applied to it, drives us in a slightly different direction, as long as that's for a good sound reason and not for some silly political consideration that has no place in these discussions, then that is logical and sensible." Ms Sturgeon previously told Good Morning Britain measures for lifting the lockdown are currently underway, but added it is too early to share these with the public. In a speech, she promised the Scottish people she would